You're listening to theoutdoorstation.co.uk.
Hello and welcome to another special podcast recorded at the Outdoor Show at the NEC 2008. And this one is all about getting out. In this one, Andy Howell has a word with Hannah from the John Muir Trust about the work that they do and concentrate on in the wilderness. I speak with Emily Peake, who is a young volunteer from Girl Guiding UK to encourage young people into getting into the outdoors. Andy continues his walk around the show and finds out more about Ireland's Northwest Cycle Trail. And he has a sit-down with the sponsors of the Outdoor Show, the Ordnance Survey, Chief Executive Vanessa Lawrence, and discusses the new OS portal, which is now up and running. But first, Andy speaks to the Ramblers Association, a walking group for all ages.
Now, when we think of the Ramblers Association, rather unfairly, we do tend to think about people of a certain age, perhaps bearded, struggling through the mud to get to the pub for lunchtime. But of course, it's not like that at all. And here at the Outdoor Show, the Ramblers Association are promoting their new hike section, which is focusing on walkers between the ages of 20 and 30. And I've got with me Kevin Matthews, who is the editor of Hike magazine, which is the journal that's specifically aimed at walkers between the ages of 20 and 30.
Yes, that's right. Walking is truly for everybody, but unfortunately the word rambler or ramblers has built up a caricature image over the last few years, in fact decades, of the old sort of bobble hat and red socks image, whereas it's actually something that everyone can enjoy. And the Ramblers realised that and wanted to get more young people out walking, spending perhaps less time watching the telly, less time out drinking to excess, and actually get out and enjoying the fresh air. So a few years ago we launched the Hike section of the Ramblers, which is a magazine and a set of walking groups, over 50 of which nationwide now, which are particularly aimed at people in and around the 20s and 30s age group, because our research showed that was the age group that weren't joining us and weren't taking up walking.
Now, there's an interesting thing, because when I look back a long way to when I was that age myself, I mean, one of the difficulties is that it's sometimes very difficult to find people of the same age who share that love for walking on the hills as well. So presumably this is a great opportunity for people to get out and meet other walkers, sometimes for the first time.
That's right. I mean, everybody seems to think they're the only one that enjoys walking. Then they join one of these groups and they find out that they are actually part of a massive population of people who do enjoy walking. A massive number of our new members tend to be recent graduates or people in their 20s who've perhaps been in their university hiking club and really got into the social network, taken up hiking. Then they finish and go back and start the world of work, and suddenly the phone call comes, I've just moved to such and such, and they're looking for new friends. They want to carry on walking with the people of a similar age, similar outlook, and that's what the hike groups are there for.
Now, if you've got 50 groups across the country, presumably this is a reasonably good geographic spread. So if I'm in most urban areas, I guess, would I have access to a hike group near me?
Yes, wherever you live in the UK now, or certainly in Great Britain, there'll be a hike group very close to you. All the major cities have them. All the main counties now have at least one hike group within the county. So wherever you are, there'll be a group near you.
Now, we've got a load of leaflets here which have groups in Oxfordshire, Cambridgeshire, Nottinghamshire, Derbyshire, Staffordshire, Worcestershire, Warwickshire, the Black Country, Leicester and Rutland, the Chilterns, West Midlands, Milton Keynes. I mean, you certainly do seem to have it covered, and this is presumably important in terms of taking the Ramblers forwards and making sure that it's an important organisation that needs to stay with us.
Well, that's right. As we mentioned earlier, that caricature image can often stand in the way of all the important work that the Ramblers does, and people see the image but they don't actually realise the work as a charity we're doing in the background to protect paths, increase access, and also preserve the countryside, and most importantly, as we mentioned before, get more people out there walking. So this network of groups makes us much more accessible, and it means we are making sure there's a new generation of members to continue the Ramblers Association's work in years to come.
I was talking to Lord Chris Smith, the president of the Ramblers, a couple of weeks ago, and he was saying he was quite frustrated by the fact that he thought the Ramblers was one of the very best representative lobby campaigning groups he'd come across, and yet he said, compared to something like the National Trust, its membership is absolutely tiny. So it really is important, isn't it, for those of us who love the outdoors and love walking, to really support the Ramblers and ensure that it continues.
That's right. I mean, the question is really, you could say that everybody who goes walking has a reason to support the Ramblers, whether they choose to walk with one of our groups or not. It's the fact that by walking you're not only supporting the work of our local groups, but you're actually supporting the footpaths that you'll be walking on. Many people don't realise that much of the countryside they walk on, especially the vast areas of land now open through the Countryside and Rights of Way Act, wouldn't be there for them to walk on if it hadn't been for the work. So we're almost an unsung hero sometimes, and the hike groups are just one way we're trying to better promote what we do, but more importantly, going forward, what we still need to do. We now have the access. The biggest issue we have in this country now is the rising levels of inactivity and obesity, and the big role of the Ramblers is to get more people to actually go out and enjoy the outdoors and walk, be it in the cities or in the country.
And of course, I mean, the groups are important, the directories are important, but the Ramblers is a campaigning organisation, and the new access laws, much of that achievement is down to the Ramblers. And there's still a lot to do, isn't there, in terms of opening of our countryside, and particularly coastal paths?
Yes, coastal access is high on the agenda at the moment, and we're very pleased with the progress being made with the various government agencies with Natural England towards actually achieving that, and we really want to see as much access to the coast as possible. Again, the coastline is often one of the first experiences people have of walking. They're on holiday, on a coastal holiday, and one of their activities is go on a short walk, and that can be where they actually get into walking for the first time. So it's really important that first experience is there, and there are more opportunities to walk the coast. So that's a very important part of our work. We still have an awful lot of our footpaths that link communities and make walking from your doorstep possible that are still inaccessible to walkers, so we still have a long way to go there. And as I mentioned before, a big area as well is actually promoting walking, encouraging people to walk both in the countryside and on their doorstep, both for health and recreation.
Well, it's certainly, one of the most accessible, one of the most enjoyable forms of exercise, particularly for those people that are having to take up exercise for health reasons. So good luck for that. Now, in terms of the hike groups and membership, how much would that cost me a year?
Membership now, annually, it's now, if you're joining on your own, it would be £27 a year, and for that you'd get membership of your local group, but you can also walk with any group nationwide once you're a member. You also get our magazine Walk 4 times a year, plus the members of the hike groups also get Hike magazine, which is specific for them, telling them about group events that are going on. And finally they get their annual yearbook and walks guide, and they also get their membership card, which is much more important than it seems, because the membership card entitles you to many discounts at most outdoor shops.
It certainly does. Many a time have I gone up into the walking capital of the world and left my membership card behind and have had to forego my 10% discount. Now, everybody's on the web these days, so if somebody's listening to this thinking, well, that hike groups initiative sounds just the thing for me, they can find you on the web?
That's right, they can go to the Ramblers website, www.ramblers.org.uk/hike.
Well, thanks, Kevin. It certainly is a worthwhile initiative, and just illustrates the fact that rambling just isn't for the 50s, and if you're the 20s and 30s, there's something very lively, very vibrant happening somewhere near you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
All of us that love backpacking and wilderness have a little special place in our hearts, I think, for the John Muir Trust, whose work really has made a massive difference to protecting some of our very last precious wilderness areas. And the John Muir Trust are here at the Outdoor Show, and I've got with me Hannah. Hannah, it's great to see the Trust represented here. I mean, presumably you're trying to promote the message of the Trust much more widely. So how's the show for you, and what are the key messages you're trying to get across here today?
The show is really a great opportunity for us to raise the profile of the Trust, but also to raise the understanding. Lots of people might have heard of it in connection with us owning Ben Nevis or Knoydart, one of the iconic landscapes in Scotland that the Trust helps to protect. But as well as the conservation side, the Trust also campaigns against threats to wildland and helps inspire people to value and appreciate wildland and wild places through the John Muir Award. So the show for us is really a great chance for people to come find out about it and to feedback to us as well and find out how we're doing.
No, because John Muir himself was the grandfather of all wilderness movements. So tell us more about the John Muir Award.
The John Muir Award's open to anybody of any ages. It's free to all. There's no charges. We provide the support. And it's really about getting people to identify a wild place that's wild to them, that means something to them, whether that's a mountain top or in an urban area where they can find that little bit of wild place, about getting them to explore it and discover it, find out how they can conserve it, and then share their experiences with the community, with the friends around them. Again, that links back to the Trust's valuing wild lands and wild places.
Now that's important because we do tend to think about the Trust and wilderness in relation to the great expanses of Scotland or whatever, but I remember I was very struck this year by reading Robert Harlan's book, The Wild Places, where he's focusing on areas of wilderness in very urban environments, really. So just talk a bit more about that. If somebody was thinking about the kind of places they might want to protect, the special places in cities, give us a few examples so people get a feel for what they might consider for the award.
We've got some fantastic examples of groups adopting area in their community, sort of garden, helping out the council, or even within the school community where they've set aside a piece of land, turned it over, they've looked into what's needed in terms of what they can grow there, what they can develop, how they can open it up to the community. And that's gone from being a little bit of land that was serving no purpose to giving the community some focus and enjoyment as well out of it.
Okay, so there's an urban side to the John Muir Trust that many of us haven't realised. But coming back to wilderness and particularly to Scotland, what are the big projects that are on the go at the moment?
At the moment we're really working with partnership with local communities. So the Trust purchased estate properties, but then we've helped community partnerships such as up in Ascent and the North Harris Community Foundation to help them manage the land for their community to make it sustainable for the future.
And that sustainability is a key, isn't it? I was very impressed a couple of years ago spending some of the summer in Inverary in the Knoydart, and what really impressed me was a whole community that had created that community company with an absolute commitment at the heart of it to protect the wilderness of the Knoydart, which was a fascinating concept, I think.
Absolutely. They are wild places, but there are people living there and the communities based around it. We want the land to still be valued by everyone, and that includes the people that live there. And to make that sustainable, getting the communities involved is the way forward.
Well, and like everything else, you can join the John Muir Trust, and I guess everybody should join it to help keep it wild, as the slogan goes. So how do we go about membership, and how much does it cost?
The annual membership's £24 a year, but you can spread that for £2 a month by direct debit. You can join online, which is gmt.org, or by visiting us here at the Trust stand today.
Well, good luck to you, Hannah. We certainly need to work hard to protect our wilderness and to expand it and to promote the notions of sustainable living. Thanks very much, and good luck for the future.
Great, thanks very much, Andy.
Girl Guiding UK is a female-only space. It's for girls aged 7 and upwards, up to any age. We accommodate everyone who wants to do anything in Girl Guiding UK. They get to choose what they want to do in their units. It's on a local level, so where you live there'll be a number of units. It's on a national level and it's on an international level.
Okay, so where can people find out, first of all, about guiding? So they might have a daughter or have a sister that's interested in outdoor activities. Where do they pick it up from? Well,
the main thing is to look on the website, www.girlguiding.org.uk. There you can get in touch with CHQ, which can tell you where the units are in your area and who best to get in touch with.
And what sort of activities do you do? I know you say that, you obviously cover a lot of fun activities, but in reality, what is that? Is that camping? Is it, bushcraft? What sort of things do the girls get up to these days?
Well, some units do choose to go camping. Other units choose to look at animals. Last week with my brownies, we made necklaces. We do lots of outdoor activities at the various centres where people work, like canoeing, climbing, archery. You can go abroad with Girl Guiding UK. Lots of things, really. And
what is there's obviously the brownies and the guides. Is there an age difference between them, a cut-off point?
Basically, if you're age 7 to 9, you're in the brownies. Once you are 10, you go to the guides. And once you pass 16, you can become an adult member.
Okay, and I presume it's not a free service. Do you pay a sort of a membership fee?
You pay a kind of membership fee, subscription fee. We only charge our brownies £1 for each week. Obviously, we pay that amount of money because we're a charity, and we don't get money from anywhere else really. So it's minimal costs, and if people do have trouble paying those costs, then units accommodate that as well.
So, I mean, you really are all about empowering young women to get involved and presumably socialise as well?
Yeah, it's a very, very social environment, and it's for anyone really, any age, any background. Disabilities, we accommodate for disabilities, cultures, religions.
So you cover everything and try and please all the people?
Yes, it's we're trying to scrap the image. It's not just a white middle class background anymore. It's for everyone.
And what are you actually doing at the show itself? Because you've got several stands, I notice.
Yeah, we've got several stands. We're doing a Go For It, which is one of the guide activities that guys can do. Go around to all our different stands, and some of the other stands, like the British Orienteering stand, they'll get a stamp and a sticker. And once you've completed 5 stickers, you get a prize.
Okay, well, I wish you all the best on that. And just to repeat that website address again for people interested in this activity is www.girlguiding.org.uk.
Thank you.
Ireland is a great place for all kinds of holidays, and anybody that's been there knows about the amazing hospitality. But in recent years, I guess influenced by the political stability and the positive nature of the country moving forward, we begin to see all kinds of new tourist ventures emerging. And one of the ones that's caught my eye today is the Northwest Trail, which is a 326-kilometre circular cycling route through some of the most stunning country in the northwest of Ireland. And I've got Rick with me to talk to me about it. Rick, this looks like a kind of almost ideal cycling holiday for somebody that likes their holidays in the north rather than, say, in the sunny Med or something like that.
It certainly is, yes. I mean, this new trail that we've developed is a cross-border trail in the northwest of Ireland. So you've got a whole mix of different types of countryside that you're cycling through, from coastal route through the lakelands and around sort of undulating countryside.
And 326 kilometres, I mean, how many days would that break down to? I mean, presumably you can do it very quickly or you can take your time, but as a general guide, we're looking at how long?
Well, it has this route you have the opportunity, you could do it in 3 days as a sort of a challenge. You could do it in 1 day as a challenge, I suppose, if you were really fit. But also, you can take 4 or 5 days over it and really enjoy it and get to see some of the lovely sights and sceneries, some of the museums, to explore the culture and heritage around the route as well.
I mean, I take the point about the challenge, but really it is stunning countryside, and I'm not sure I'd really want to rush through it in a day or 2 days, because we're going through some stunning areas, aren't we? I mean, the wonderful rugged beaches of Donegal through to the lovely lakes of Leitrim and Sligo. There's a terrific amount of variety there.
There certainly is. There's a huge variety. I mean, part of this route you cycle on the beach at Rosnowla. In Donegal, you have the wonderful sort of hills to either side of you as you go through the dramatic sort of Ballinsmore Gap. You also come across the border between Lifford and Strabane, where you have the Sperrin Mountains around you there, and then, as you mentioned, Enniskillen, you've got the Lakelands, you've got Marble Arch Caves, all these sort of things that are around the route.
Now, this, as you said earlier, is a cross-border initiative which you developed in partnership with Sustrans, I think. Now, some of the areas like Donegal are well-known tourist destinations, but others, for all kinds of reasons that we put behind us now, are not so well-known. But it's stunning countryside, isn't it? And I've always found the hospitality in that part of the world second to none.
It certainly is. I mean, no matter where you go on this route, you'll receive a warm welcome in each of the towns, villages that you stop at along the way, and you'll get to see this area. You get to see the real island. That's what you'll find there. Whereas, a lot of people used to find that in the south. It's now become so busy. Here, you're looking at what was there maybe 20 years ago with that real warm welcome.
You've got those traditional bars and a lot of music in the evenings, and of course the Donegal area particularly has got a long history, hasn't it, of traditional music.
It certainly has, yes. The likes of Ballyshannon, the route goes through. You know, there are traditional festivals there held every year. Like you say, you know, a lot of the pubs you'll find very regularly, you know, they'll have sessions in them. Omagh has the Dunolla Centre, which is the centre for traditional culture and music in the north of Ireland.
And as cycling country goes, it's a pretty good place for cycling, isn't it? I mean, the roads aren't too cramped and it's reasonably safe, and it would make for a good family cycling holiday, I guess.
Certainly, I mean, in terms of this route, you know, it takes some of the lovely, quiet country roads away from the main roads. Roads that you'll often have green strip of grass up the middle. You know, you can tell they're not very well used. You're most likely to encounter maybe a tractor or two, and that's about it. But on the whole, yes, it keeps away. And in some of the urban areas, you have, for instance, we developed a new route along into Sligo, into the town, right along the riverside. Stunning, beautiful way to enter the town of Sligo, for instance.
Okay, so sounds like an ideal family cycling destination. If we wanted to know more about it, presumably you're on the web these days?
Certainly, we're on the web. It's northwest-trail.com is the website, and you can get all the information through that.
And that'll give us information about the routes, but also about accommodation and other support that we need along the way.
It certainly does, yes. And we have a leaflet on the route, and we're also producing one of the Sustrans-style maps of the route, which you can follow in detail.
Well, it's a stunning part of the world, and it looks like something that's a really great new initiative, so I wish you well with that.
Thank you very much. I'd recommend it to anyone.
Now, last year when we were at the Outdoor Show, we had a sneak preview of the Ordnance Survey's new portal. And the service is now up and running, and I'm with Vanessa Lawrence, who is the
Director General and Chief Executive of Ordnance Survey.
The portal is something that's really going to revolutionise the way I think we see Ordnance Survey. So take me through it and what its highlights and what can we expect from it as hill walkers?
Well, very much the portal is a way for people to enter the outdoors, but through the web. It not only has articles of interests, very much tells people what's going on, but more importantly, people are able to go and publish their own routes and also tell people, look at other people's routes that they've done in their local area. So perhaps you'd care to choose a place and we could go for and explore together.
Okay, well, we've got a PC terminal in front of us. In a week's time, I'm off to Snowdonia, so let's have a look at something around there. Okay, so Vanessa's just put in Clanberis into the search engine, and it's given us 3 matching places. Well, we're talking about Clanberis in a minute, that's right, and it's brought up a whole series of search results. So we're looking at what, Vanessa?
Well, we're now looking at 42 routes that have been entered by other people, that which they've undertaken, plus they've often published their photographs as well. And for instance, we've got an example here where somebody's put that it's called East Ridge Horseshoe. It's a grade 2 scramble. And basically it tells you that it goes up Eoghan and then back down besides the Atlantic slabs.
Which is indeed a great day's out, great walk, great scramble.
And what it does is it's a 6-mile route, and then you enter into that route, and you clearly see it, first of all, on a fairly small scales map, but you can go in and get the further detail now.
But that's a pretty good detail there of that was the kind of 1 to 25,000, and now we've got a map of the basically following the A5 through the Ogwen Valley.
But very much showing you, as it clearly says, it's suitable for walking and for rock climbing. This particular person hasn't actually put any comments in, but if I went and did that walk, could actually come back and put comments in and say the viewpoint from this particular area was outstanding down onto the reservoir, for instance.
So we could actually come back, have a look at the website here and say, well, actually that's the spot where I stopped and there were stunning views, and we could effectively tag that on the map and put those comments in. And I guess that over time what will happen is we'll end up with a massive series of comments or something that will really help you decide whether this is the walk for you, because guidebooks can be great, important things, but often you do wonder, well, is that the right kind of route for me? Is that really a bit too difficult to scramble? Presumably over time we'll begin to build up a massive database of experiences that will enable you to decide whether this is the route for you or not.
Absolutely. And what's fantastic is when people are entering their own walk. So somebody goes out on a Sunday, comes back, says, I'd like to publish my walk, it was such a nice thing to do. They go in and they're able to actually pick from a menu to say whether it's a very difficult walk or whether it's perhaps suitable for a wheelchair or a pushchair. It tells them there's cycle routes, there's horse riding routes, there's even canoeing and kayaking routes. And so as a result it really helps people to have new ideas as they wish to go for an afternoon out, perhaps in an area that's unfamiliar to them.
So this is in a sense about the Ordnance Survey tapping into or creating a community of walkers that interact with you in that way. That's a very different kind of relationship that new technology has made possible. But presumably that's going to be the future of mapping and the future of Ordnance Surveys to a large extent.
Well, Ordnance Survey underpins everybody's daily life in different scales of information. 500,000 people are using our walking maps at weekends, but also in another part of their daily life we might be underpinning their planning application or the supply of gas and electricity to their house. And so very much what we're seeing is new technology is changing the way we reach customers. The Explore portal has been particularly developed because we're very conscious of the many new customers who perhaps are in their 20s and 30s, maybe in their teens as well, who are, the web is just something they use every minute of every day. And being part of a community, we know they're part of other social networking communities, and they're becoming part of this community. What's been interesting is this site's only been up for about 7 or 8 weeks, and there are already 3,500 people who have contributed different routes, some people contributing many routes. And so as a result, all of a sudden, instantly, you've got a community of several thousands of new routes that people can go on. We see this all developing very much. We see over the next few months new developments which will draw more people to this site. And at the same time, though, what we do know is that going out walking is very much helps people to manage all the other stress and strains of their lives.
Now on the page we've got obviously access to the latest routes. We've got something that says latest blogs, and we've got something there that says from Camilla, our group's poet on the trail. So let's have a look what that says.
Wow, what does that mean? I don't know.
Could be anything.
Oh, here we are.
Oh, there's a poem. It's 2 new limericks, which I won't read out for embarrassment purposes, but they're there on the site if you ever want to look at them. And again, this is a good example, I guess, of somebody putting something into the notion of the community outdoors in their own way, in their own style.
Absolutely. Here's a person talking about their walk on the Isle of Wight, by the looks of it, with 7 friends and how much they enjoyed it. And it tells us that they also even stopped to have a quick bite to eat at the end. And that's great that people can express themselves. I've seen people talking about what a difference it's made. Perhaps they've not been very well recently and they've just kind of gone out, and that's fantastic. But here's somebody also saying 10th of March, be careful out there today, the weather is wild. So you're getting people giving us advice at the same time, and that's fantastic. We've seen many people, as is here, what they're doing is they're advertising their planned walks.
Now that's quite interesting. This is somebody who's posted up a whole series of details of walks in Yorkshire by the look of it, some evening walks, some walks that are about 5 miles up to 7, 8 miles. it becomes the kind of almost one-stop shop place for somebody who kind of thinks they might like to do something but isn't quite sure. Presumably that builds on people's faith in the brand of Ordnance Survey.
I think so. Well, obviously what we emphasise to people, this is other people's information that's being posted by them on top of our walks. We do moderate it to make sure that it's, being sensibly done, but we obviously haven't been out to check these walks. Obviously, authoritative sources like our partners, like Gerald's and Walking World, they are the authoritative walks. They've checked those walks. But these are other people having ideas, and certainly what I found, I've gone onto the site when I've been in areas that I'm less familiar with, and thought, as I looked at my Ordnance Survey map, now where exactly would be a really nice walk, gone on here and being able to quickly identify 4 or 5 good areas to go walking. And often they also tell us about the nice pub as well, which is, frankly, it's what it's all about, isn't it? It's about enjoying themselves, whether it be a 2-mile walk or whether it be a 20-mile walk, or even we've got cycle routes of 100 miles, I noticed on here.
Well, certainly when we were looking at the Snowdonia section a few moments ago, there was everything there from very high-level routes that were very challenging to nice, gentle ambles along the kind of lower woodland glades, and so there is literally something for everybody here, and in 7 weeks it's quite impressive. So who knows what it'll look like after 2 or 3 years.
Well, I think people should watch it carefully. I think there'll be lots of new developments, and how to get at it is just go to the Ordnance Survey website and click on the leisure area, and you can go exploring immediately with the Explore portal.
Right, now obviously one of the big developments that we see all around us, particularly at this show this year, is the whole area around GPS and computerised maps and that kind of thing. How is this going to work over the next few years? How do you think this technology is going to integrate with your data and your maps? And what kind of new opportunities do you think it's going to open up for us?
Well, I think tremendous opportunities, actually. Obviously, in the walking community or in the outdoor community, you have every type of person. The person who goes out with just puts on some just quite strong shoes and just goes out for a little ramble, right through to the very technical walker and hiker. And what the kind of technology is doing is making sure that every part of that spectrum of walker is now covered. Obviously, they've always had a paper map. They can get hold of paper mapping, instantly off their bookshelf. But what the GPS technology is giving them is, besides accurate positioning of where they are, and certainly I've found them to be very helpful on some of the most remote parts of Great Britain. One, I've not found I need a GPS in areas of just rural walking. It's when you're in the extreme areas, GPS comes in very helpful, but people do tend to use them in all landscapes now. But what I'm seeing is our data being integrated into these devices, and people using them it's sort of in association with our maps. Now, the one warning I would give to your listeners is that, and the equipment manufacturers say the same, is never just walk with a gadget. We all know about gadgets. The batteries run down, you drop it, and all of a sudden it doesn't work, or the internet goes down. All of those things happen, when you're dealing with gadgets alone.
Still need that compass and that map. You still
need that compass and that map. And if you went to talk to Mountain Rescue, they will tell you that one of the kind of increase they're seeing is people going out with a cellular phone and a gadget, and then we're sort of thinking, well, I'm lost, so I'll just ring them up. And, that is a waste of the resource, when people should go out with a good compass and still know how to use them.
So what we're seeing here are products that are adding real new value to what we're doing, but they're not replacing the traditional tried and tested techniques that are going to keep us safe there. But certainly that portal's fascinating, and I think it does give us a glimpse of the way in which things are going to go. So good luck with that.
Thank you very much.
And maybe next year, if we're here again, we can chat about it, and be interesting to see what's happened after 12 months of using it.
Very much. I think we'll see thousands of users now attracted to it, and a lot more good content on it as well.
Okay, so if you go to www.ordnancesurvey.co.uk, you'll find the links to the portal there, and already it's looking to be a very useful tool. I shall certainly log on before I go to Snowdonia next week and see what it's got to offer me.
Excellent. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Vanessa.
And that brings us to an end of another Outdoor Show special, recorded at the 2008 Ordnance Survey Outdoor Show at the NEC this year. Well, I hope you've enjoyed the shows. We've still got a variety of interviews to compile into more specials, as well as into the podzines. And so do drop us a line at info@theoutdoorstation.co.uk and let us know your thoughts and if you've enjoyed them. Do, of course, keep an eye on the website, because you never know exactly when another podcast is released, full of useful information. We do like to cover a whole range of topics. And if you're an iTunes user or use another similar podcatching software, make sure you click and get the RSS feed so that any time we release anything, you get it straight away. I'm getting all tongue-tied with podcatching and podcast software. Anyway, until next time, folks, have a good week and we'll see you soon. All the best now. Bye-bye.
This independent programme has been brought to you by theoutdoorstation.co.uk.